Fanatics also reported a 100% increase in sales for WNBA specific merchandise. It started with Caitlin Clark. And so now that we know all of this, and we've known that for months, now we get to turn around and look and see what exactly is it that the league will do, knowing that she's out for the next 2 weeks. I'm not saying I know for sure what's going to happen, but I have an idea.
Just when it seemed like the WNBA was finally hitting its stride, ready to ride the golden wave of Caitlin Clark straight into the promised land of mainstream relevance and financial gold, they let this happen. And by this, I mean the injury that has every basketball fan, every sports analyst, and yes, even Stephen A. Smith, spiraling into full-blown panic mode.
Unfortunately, though, the celebration in the WNBA, it was cut short yesterday afternoon as WNBA players learned the harsh lesson: be careful what you wish for. Headline at the New York Post: Caitlin Clark sidelined with Indiana Felines announcing shock injury. Keyword: shock. This injury was shocking, but not for reasons that you may think.
Caitlin Clark, the woman who single-handedly transformed women's basketball from a niche interest your hoops-obsessed cousin follows into must-see TV that has people canceling dinner plans, is now sidelined with a left quad strain. 2 weeks minimum, they say. 2 weeks of the WNBA trying to act like losing their biggest star, the Golden Goose, the walking ratings machine, isn't about to send viewership numbers crashing faster than a house of cards in a hurricane.
Everybody was moving Caitlin Clark games to bigger facilities because everyone was selling tickets. There were ratings. It was a ratings bonanza. Now with Caitlin Clark not playing, what do? Well, when you change your situs, guess what? You can't change it back.
Yep.
All
the tickets are literally half the price, and there are entire sections of the stadium that have not sold any tickets.
And who's the first to absolutely blow up over this? Who's the first to call out the sheer madness of the situation? None other than Stephen A. Smith, the same man who's been defending Caitlin Clark from day one, while half the WNBA establishment treated her like some basketball tourist who stumbled into their league by mistake.
Indiana led the league in attendance both at home and on the road. The Fever averaged 17,035 fans at home and over 15,000 on the road. 4 teams moved home games to bigger arenas when Indiana came to town to accommodate more fans. That's about Caitlin Clark. How do we know this? Attendance for the entire league was up nearly 50% last year, according to data from across the timeline, and Indiana led all teams with an average attendance of 17,035. That was up 319%.
Stephen A. didn't just comment on Caitlin Clark's injury. He went absolutely nuclear. And honestly, it's about time someone did. While the rest of the sports world tiptoes around the obvious, clinging to political correctness and pretending Caitlin Clark isn't carrying this league on her back, Stephen A. is out here dropping truth bombs that would make a mathematician weep. We'll find out. We don't know yet, he said when asked about the impact of Clark's injury. But I'm going to be really, really interested in seeing what kind of effect this has on the WNBA's ratings. Because if, for some reason, there's a precipitous drop-off, then everybody needs to stand down.
We'll find out. We don't know yet, but I'm going to be really, really interested in seeing, Molly, what kind of effect this has on the WNBA's ratings, because if for some reason there is a precipitous drop-off, then everybody needs to stand down and recognize the fact that the speculation or the assertions and assumptions about her being the golden goose is validated.
If you're enjoying this, go ahead and subscribe, because Stephen, you beautiful, logical genius. You said what everyone else was too scared to admit. And let's be real, he's absolutely right. The man is practically sitting there with a stopwatch, ready to mark the exact moment the WNBA realizes it's been taking its most valuable asset for granted. It's like watching someone ignore a pot of gold while complaining about being broke. And Steven's the guy screaming, the gold is right there. Let's talk numbers for a hot second, because clearly, some folks in the WNBA front office need a calculator and a reality check. Games featuring Caitlin Clark this season have averaged 1.178 million viewers. Games without her? A measly 394,000. That's not just a gap, that's a 199% chasm so wide you could drive a freight train through it.to put it in terms even the most math-challenged sports executive can understand. Clark's games draw 3 times more viewers than those without her. 3 times.
Became the first rookie with at least 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in a playoff game. That was Caitlin Clark. Became the 4th different rookie to play all 40 minutes in a playoff game. That was her. I'm looking at other things. 6 different league television partners. This is last year. This is last season because this is the Caitlin Clark that we're talking about. 6 different league television partners set viewership records that year, her rookie year, for its highest viewed WNBA game. Do you know every one of those games included the Indiana Fever?
But here's where things really start to heat up. Folks, Stephen A. Smith isn't just reacting to Caitlin Clark's injury. He's been building toward this moment for months. This is a man who's watched the WNBA trip over itself, trying to manage the arrival of its brightest star. He's seen legends like Cheryl Swoops treat Clark less like a generational talent and more like an uninvited guest, ignoring the reality that Clark could be the league's long-overdue lifeline. He's watched Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and the WNBA brass offer tepid endorsements when they should have been rolling out red carpets and organizing citywide parades. Now, with Clark sidelined, Stephen A. isn't whispering, "I told you so." He's practically shouting it from the rooftops, the speculation, the assumptions about her being the golden goose. Validated, he declared. And if that's true, you ride that wave. A rising tide lifts all boats. If her absence due to that quad strain causes the numbers to drop, that's your proof, and everyone needs to accept it, back off, and let the momentum carry the league. In plain English, the WNBA's ratings are about to tank, and Stephen A. is ready to swing those numbers like a hammer at every critic, every gatekeeper, and every doubter who refused to see what's been obvious from the start.
Tide lifts all boats. And if this is the magnetic traction that draws viewers to the WNBA, and her absence over the next 2 weeks due to that quad strain is providing further evidence of that, then everybody needs to accept it, stand down, and ride that wave. I'm going to be really interested in seeing how the ratings are going to look without her over the next 2 weeks. Let's make sure we come back and ask me this exact same question after she's been gone for those 2 weeks.
Let's hit rewind for a second and unpack how we landed here. When Caitlin Clark stepped onto the WNBA stage, she wasn't just a rookie. She was a one-woman economic powerhouse. The season opener featuring Clark's Indiana Fever against the Chicago Sky pulled in a staggering 2.7 million viewers on ABC, the highest viewership ever recorded for a WNBA game across ESPN platforms. That number isn't just impressive. It's practically miraculous for a league that's been clawing for relevance for more than 20 years. But here's the real shocker. Instead of the WNBA leadership falling to their knees, thanking the basketball gods for delivering this superstar, what did we get? Tepid press releases. Generic social media blurbs. It was almost like they were ashamed of their own triumph, too hesitant to acknowledge that one player could move the needle that much. Stephen A. Smith watched all of this unfold live, simmering with frustration. He saw Clark shatter viewership records, pack arenas, and single-handedly pull the WNBA into the mainstream spotlight, while some players and commentators acted like she wasn't even worthy of the buzz.
What she brings to the table. But people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm, and they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had. They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlin Clark got here, and y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now the young white girl comes along and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark. It's about what she represents. My point is, grow up.
Stephen A. Smith has been the lone warrior defending Clark against critics more interested in protecting their own egos than celebrating the rising tide that lifts all boats. When former WNBA stars started throwing shade and acting resentful instead of thankful, Stephen A. was right there, calling it out. They act like there isn't, or hasn't been, legitimate resentment, he said, referring to Clark's vocal detractors. But nobody's fooled here. And now, we get to watch Stephen A.'s prediction unfold in real time. Clark isn't just missing any ordinary games. She's sidelined for the marquee matchups that were supposed to be pure television gold. That highly anticipated rematch against Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky? Gone. Multiple nationally televised games that networks were banking on for ratings? Poof. Just vanished. The financial fallout? Massive. The Indiana Fever aren't simply losing their star player. They are losing their primary revenue engine. Clark isn't just the team's top scorer and assist leader. She's the entire reason fans buy tickets, tune in on TV, and scoop up merchandise. Without her, the Fever slide from must-see TV to just another WNBA team that most casual fans couldn't pick out of a lineup.
I think Stephen A is 100% correct on this. At the end of the day, you already see people actually saying, hey, I'm not watching for 2 weeks. I'm not tuning in for 2 weeks. And it's really bad news for the Mystics and the Sky, because both of those teams moved those games to big arenas. So it's like, now that she's not playing, what is that attendance going to look like? The viewership, right? The viewership is going to plummet. I already know, because majority of the people that's watching the Indiana Fever wants to see Caitlin Clark. And sad to say it, a lot of them only want to see Caitlin Clark. They don't really care about the entire.
But this is where Stephen A.'s frustration truly boils over. It wasn't the injury itself that set him off. Injuries are part of the game. No, what really infuriates him is the league's utter failure to protect and prioritize its most valuable asset. Throughout Clark's rookie season and into this year, she's been absorbing hits that would make NFL linebackers flinch. Flagrant fouls, reckless plays, dangerous targeting. Yet the WNBA's response? Act like it's just part of the game. Stephen A. has been watching all this unfold, probably yelling at his TV just like the rest of us. Here's a player who's literally reshaping the league's destiny. And instead of wrapping her in bubble wrap and treating her like the priceless star she is, the WNBA has allowed opponents to turn her into a human punching bag.